What if I told you that some hospitals never stop treating their patients, even after death? Some buildings hold memories so dark, so heavy, that even decades later, the walls remember every scream, every whisper, every life lost within them. We're stepping into 5 of America's most haunted hospitals, places where the living fear to tread and the dead refuse to leave. We begin in Louisville, Kentucky, at Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Waverly Hills Sanatorium was built to treat tuberculosis during a time when the disease had no cure. Thousands died here, often alone, isolated from friends and family. The walls of the hospital witnessed countless acts of desperation and suffering, a history of agony embedded into every floorboard, every door frame, every brick. Visitors today report feeling a presence in nearly every corner. Beneath the main building lies the infamous death tunnel, a 500-foot passage used to remove the bodies of patients quietly, so as not to break the morale of the living. Paranormal investigators and ghost hunters often hear footsteps echoing in the tunnel, muffled sobs, and sometimes the unmistakable cough of someone who should not exist anymore. Room 502 holds its own tragedies. 2 nurses ended their lives here. One hanged herself in the 1920s. Another jumped from the rooftop in the 1930s. Visitors report the scent of perfume in the empty room, the sound of a woman quietly crying, and shadows moving against walls that are otherwise completely still. Cameras sometimes capture apparitions that vanish when approached. Shadow people wander through the halls. Full-bodied silhouettes appear and disappear. Echoes of coughing, crying, and dragging feet defy explanation. Countless stories have emerged of ghostly children laughing, unseen nurses tending imaginary patients, and even figures at windows staring silently at passers-by. Though Waverly Hills has been closed for over half a century, it seems not all of its occupants have left. Some presences linger, unwilling or unable to move on. When you step inside these halls, you feel it. The living may leave, but the dead remain. From the rolling hills of Kentucky, we move east to West Virginia, to the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in Weston. Imagine a hospital so vast it was meant to help a few hundred patients, but housed thousands beyond capacity. Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum was constructed between 1858 and 1881 to hold 250 patients. Yet at its peak, over 2,400 souls were crammed into its long stone wings. Patients endured lobotomies, electroshock therapy, and brutal living conditions. Overcrowding turned the asylum into a place of constant despair, where cries and screams became the ambient noise. Visitors report the spirit of a young girl, Lily, tugging at clothes, laughing in empty hallways, and disappearing before anyone can reach her. Then, there's the Creeper, a menacing shadow that leers from windows, stalking visitors in silence, always just out of reach. The asylum's basement holds echoes of Civil War soldiers. Phantom gunfire, icy touches, and smells of smoke and gunpowder persist decades after their deaths. The asylum was designed on the Kirkbride plan, meant to allow sunlight and fresh air to heal patients. Yet, the ideal failed. Staff shortages, cruel treatments, and neglect led to countless deaths. Paranormal investigators report screams that echo through hallways, cold spots that defy physics, and feelings of being watched by eyes that shouldn't exist. Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum may have closed in 1994, but the memories of suffering, fear, and death remain. Step into its halls, and you feel it immediately. Some patients never left, and some guardians still watch over their eternal wards. Next, we cross to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to Byberry Mental Hospital, a place whose very name became synonymous with cruelty. Some places are too cruel to ever forget, and Byberry Mental Hospital is one of them. Officially known as Philadelphia State Hospital, Byberry operated for decades as a model of neglect. Patients were restrained in thick leather cuffs, canvas mitts, and locked in bare, bedless rooms. Hundreds spent weeks or even years in confinement, left naked, unbathed, and starving, while staff failed to care for them. A 1946 Life magazine expose revealed the horror. Patients living in steel-plated rooms with only half-inch windows, screaming into silence. Murders occurred at Byberry, sometimes by staff themselves. In 1919, 2 orderlies strangled a patient until his eyes popped out and faced no prosecution. Other patients were experimented on without consent. Hundreds perished from neglect and cruel treatment. Even decades later, paranormal investigators report cries echoing through the overgrown grounds, shadowy figures wandering empty structures, and cold, invisible touches. Apparitions are often seen where wards once stood, confused, angry, and trapped in the aftermath of unimaginable suffering. Byberry Mental Hospital closed in 1990, yet the place refuses to let go. Those who enter often leave feeling followed, touched, haunted by souls that were never allowed to leave in life. Heading south to New Orleans, Louisiana, we arrive at the old Charity Hospital. What if a hospital carried the weight of every life lost inside it and refused to forget? Charity Hospital in New Orleans was founded in 1736 and treated the sick, the poor, and the injured for centuries. When Hurricane Katrina struck in 2005, the building was shuttered, but its memories were not. Visitors report ghostly doctors and nurses still making rounds, shadowy infants crying in empty maternity wards, and figures silently watching through shattered windows. The hospital's history is filled with contrasts: births alongside deaths, hope alongside despair. Its Art Deco halls have witnessed decades of human drama. Paranormal investigators report whispers of conversations, distant laughter and crying, and sudden drops in temperature that defy explanation. Even in decay, Charity Hospital is alive. Its walls hold the imprint of countless tragedies, the echoes of lives spent and lost. Local legends speak of spirits that remain tethered to the living world, unwilling to leave behind the halls that witnessed their final moments. Charity Hospital may stand empty today, but the building is anything but lifeless. It is a vessel for memory, grief, and the restless dead, forever echoing through New Orleans. Finally, we arrive in Los Angeles, California, to Linda Vista Community Hospital. Some hospitals never closed. They only changed the kind of patients they cared for. Linda Vista Community Hospital opened in 1904 for railroad workers in Boyle Heights. Once vibrant with gardens, livestock, and bustling wards, it later became overwhelmed by gang violence, poverty, and neglect. Death became commonplace, and tragedy left an imprint on the halls. The most famous spirit, the Spanish lady, appears in the old ER, pushing gurneys or rustling curtains. In the pediatric ward, the giggling ghost, a young girl, runs through hallways that no longer hold children. In the basement morgue, cold spots, moving equipment, and an oppressive sense of dread make it clear: this hospital is still occupied by the dead. Linda Vista has also starred in Hollywood films like The Ring and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yet even celluloid cannot erase its real history of suffering. Investigators report feelings of being watched, footsteps in empty corridors, and doors slamming on their own. The hospital that once healed lives now houses memories that refuse to fade. Even decades after its closure, Linda Vista remembers every life lost, every soul abandoned. The living may leave, but the dead remain. If you dare, step inside these haunted hospitals and feel the presence of history itself. Are you the visitor or the visited? These hospitals share one chilling truth. Some buildings don't forget. The suffering, the pain, the lives lost echo through time, waiting for the next visitor to feel it. If you dare to step inside these haunted halls, ask yourself, are you the visitor or the visited? Subscribe for more true horror, and like and comment if you dare to see the unseen.